You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
And the idea that you said that you were in war,
Yeah.
Did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar's not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean another member's service in any way. I never have.
All right, now we all remember that Dana Bash interview on CNN with J.D. Vance, huh? She went in on him. Now, let's not forget, she just had an interview with Kamala Harris, and let's just say those were soft blows right there. Those were soft punches. No way, no shape or form did you have that same energy that you have for J.D. Vance. Shame, shame, shame on CNN. With that being said, let me stop wasting your time. Let me go ahead and press play and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go.
You guys seem to be struggling a little bit. Kamala Harris has been calling the shots. As who? There's no evidence that Kamala Harris threw him overboard, called you and Donald Trump, and that is weird.
Sure.
You're saying Tim Walz doesn't have affection for his wife? I don't even understand that. They have done both. They have both policies, and they are trying to define
Dana,
you as well. You have been on the campaign trail questioning Tim Walz's military record. Governor Walz served 24 years.
Sure.
He even stayed after he could have retired because of 9/11.
Sound like she defended him.
The country asked of him. Do you honor his service? I will say that the Harris Walz campaign did say that the governor misspoke. That was a month before the National Guard even announced that it was possible that they would deploy to Iraq, and it ended up being 2 months. He retired 2 months before they actually got the paperwork. You know, I've seen a lot of statements from...
Now, if you ask me, she's coming across like a spokeswoman more than an interviewer, you understand? She's supposed to be non-biased, you understand? But it seems like she is biased, and that's not a good look right there, you understand what I mean? So I don't know what to say about that. She's coming across like a spokeswoman.
Veterans, including those you served with, saying it's just untoward to be criticizing somebody who served for 24 years. Donald Trump didn't serve in the military. He received a medical draft deferment. Do you find that shameful too?
You don't think he honors our veterans? He honors me for my service?
You wrote the foreword for a new book by Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts.
Sure.
Of Project 2025. Whether or not a Trump-Vance administration would allow mifepristone, why is not allowing her to end that pregnancy helpful or supportive of expanding families like you want it to be? Fatal and could potentially hurt her ability to have more kids. Said she was almost a childless dog lady because she didn't happen to meet the right person until she was 40 years old. Another, Joan London, was offended that you don't think she has a stake in the future of the country because she doesn't have children.
The fact that she has to read that on paper lets you know that she doesn't even know what's going on. They had to dig deep. They had to write it on paper. They had to write it on paper so she can read it. This way she don't leave anything out. This is not information that she obtained on her own, that she knows, that she can just say without looking at a piece of paper. You understand? So always pay attention to that.
Kamala Harris has 2 stepchildren. Pete Buttigieg and his husband have adopted twins. Do you recognize them as parents and more broadly as being part of families? She's not childless.
My kids call her Mamaw. Of course she's not childless, but again,
you called her that.
The criticism, I certainly did not call my own stepmother childless.
Kamala Harris. You think she's
has made
anti-child?
some bizarre statement.
That's a whole nother conversation because
No,
people
it's
didn't
related
know,
to this
because people didn't know as much because it was literally a novel virus.
But Danny, you asked me about okay. You've now asked me 3 questions about comments that I made 3 years ago. The American
I'm interviewing
people
you, not
about
Kamala
Joe
Harris.
Biden.
Then I was asking about the military record that you brought up. Nobody else did of Tim Walz. I can't believe I have to ask you this, but I do, because Donald Trump.
She said nobody else did. Listen, you cannot fake anything with the military. You understand what I mean? That's a slap in the face for those who really served and really went through the real deal out there in the battlefield. You understand? So let's not play with that right there. Let's not manipulate the people who can't think on their own. Stop saying things like that, all right? He is not the only one that has something to say about that. It was going to be said. People are going to pull your card. You can't fake ranks or anything like that.
Trump has been attacking Kamala Harris's racial identity. Well, he questioned her racial identity. Do you believe Kamala Harris is black? You changed your position on an important thing, which is Donald Trump.
Of course I did.
And so
I'm
why are
honest
you not a
about it.
chameleon? There aren't media lies. We play him and we let him speak for himself. And so people are getting exactly.
Only if she had that same exact energy that she had for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now, you let me know if this is the same exact energy that she has for the other side. You let me know if you think she pick a side or she being biased, all right? Let me know if I'm far-reaching or if I'm on point.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for sitting down with me and bringing the bus. The bus tour is well underway here in Georgia.
Very giddy.
You have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history. The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my
Why she look
highest
like that?
priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward, in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib.
Yeah, where's this money really coming from? That's what I really want to know. But back to the soft questions.
There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
I wonder why.
What about you?
Well, I'm excited about this agenda, too. As I said, the idea of inspiring America to what can be. And I think many of these things that the Vice President's proposing are things that we share in values. And the child tax credit is one we know that reduces childhood poverty by 1/3. We did it in Minnesota to have a federal partner in this.
Childhood poverty? They like creating these rhetorics and these narratives and these situations that aren't none. You understand? Something just doesn't sit right with this right here. Why is he sitting next to her? That's what I want to know. I've never seen this before in history. Normally, you know, the president trying to be elected, he's on his own campaign wave, and then the vice president to be elected is on his own campaign wave. They're out spreading their agenda, spreading what plans they're going to release. You know, they're trying to get people to jump on their ship. It's a lot of marketing. It's a lot of promotion. It's a lot of traveling. It's a lot of going to territories that are very rough, very against you. And you got to try to convince them and turn them into your wave. You understand what I'm saying? But in this situation right here, this is absurd. I mean, she can't even sit by herself. And this interview is so short. When Trump does an interview or any other president ever did an interview is way longer than this right here. Even Biden had a longer interview than this.
Unbelievable, I think, in the impact that we can make.
You talked about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office.
I gotta stop it right there. I'm gonna bring it back. I just noticed something right now. It seems like what Dana is doing, right, is she's setting up the play right now. You ever seen the movie White Man Can't Jump, right? Where Wesley Snipes act like he ain't know the other guy. I forgot his name right now. Sorry, excuse me. Go in the comments. I know y'all gonna go in on that, but let's get back on track. They act like they didn't know each other. They finessed everyone on the court. They really knew how to play together, and they played it well. They did a great job on fooling everyone, right? So they're doing, I feel like that's what's being done right here. The answers and the questions, they're already premeditated. She already know what she's gonna answer, but she's setting up the questions correctly so she can get that right answer, as opposed to how she was going on JD Vance, where she was ridiculing him. And if you want to go back in time, why not do the same with Kamala Harris? I just don't get it, with everything that everyone is scrutinizing her with, huh? But you're not gonna do that. I wonder why.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost.
I wonder why.
People, I mean, literally, we were all tracking the numbers. Hundreds of people a day were dying because of COVID. The economy had crashed. In large part, all of that because of mismanagement by Donald Trump of that crisis. When we came in, our highest priority was to do what we could to rescue America. And today, we know that we have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America recovered faster than any wealthy nation around the world.
And I have to disagree with that right there. I feel like in the beginning, Trump kept saying, China, China, China. He kept saying he doesn't want to close anything down. And then I feel like he was forced into doing it, and trying to be reelected for president is what messed everything up. You know how sometimes politicians, you know, I guess he played the wrong game right there. He tried to play it towards that situation right there. He felt like, all right, maybe if I fast track everything, because that's the wave they were on, you know what I mean? He threw himself off his A game right there. And that right there, I feel like he hit himself on the foot on that one. You understand? He put his foot in his mouth on that one right there. He let the ball drop. But back to what I'm saying. That whole situation right there, I don't believe it was because of Trump. Trump really tried to go against that. He wasn't even taking it as serious as when they came in and they said that they're not going to force anyone to get the you know what, and that we're not going to close anything down. But as soon as they got into office, I kid you not, they did the opposite, all right? Remember, it was get down and lay down, or you'll lose your job and you can't get around. You understand what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. But don't forget about that. They really like to trick you out here.
But you are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it. Which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging. What we need to do to extend the child tax credit to help young families be able to take care of their children in their most formative years. What we need to do to bring down the cost of housing. My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers, so they can just have enough to put a down payment on a home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that allows them to actually get on the path to achieving that goal and that dream.
So you have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy,
Setting
and
up
we
the
have done
play.
that. I'm very
Watch.
proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%. The work that we have done to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited. I was in Nevada recently, a grandmother who showed me her receipts. And before we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, she was paying hundreds of dollars, up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that any
You
longer.
maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down prescription medication for the American people,
See, that's
including
your
capping the
question.
cost of the annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000, when we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty in America by over 50%.
She's a master at deflecting any question that you ask her. You understand? She just can't answer a straight question. She always has to give you a story and goes off and rambles. It's as if she's doing it on purpose so you could lose track of your questioning skills. You understand? Which I already know this interviewer, she's all in on it right now. You cannot tell me she's not. She's super in on it. They're setting it up so that she can say what they need her to say. You understand what I mean? But she's all over the place right now. Y'all gotta see that for yourself.
When we do what we have done to invest in the American people and bringing manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America, what we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their basic needs, I'll say that that's good work. There's more to do, but that's good work.
I want to get some clarity on where you stand on some key policy issues. Energy is a big one. When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
In 2019, I believe, at a town hall, you said you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward.
Why can't she just answer the question straight? Why can't an interviewer say, wait a minute, let me stop you right there. That's not what I asked you. It's a simple yes or no question. I don't need you to go into further details so you can lose my train of thought. You understand?
I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, I cast the tie-breaking vote that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Well, y'all be the judge. Make sure you go in the comments, run it up, flood it up. Let me know if you think I'm bugging out or you think she's playing softball when it comes to Kamala Harris, all right? Or should I say Kamala Harris, all right? Yeah, man, I'm telling you, if you don't pay attention to what's going on in your current times, when the time passes, it'll be easy to just manipulate your train of thought because you're not paying attention to what's going on. So they have to tell you what's going on. With that being said, if you don't do your due diligence research, you're just going to believe the hype, all right? Don't forget, if you made it to this part of the video, consider hitting that like button. Definitely subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell. If you have any suggestions for any videos, go on my Instagram, leave a DM, or you can go on my X and also leave a message. See you on the next one.